Hi again, everyone, and welcome to today's reading lesson. This is number 15. Hopefully, you have been reading the books that I've been reading aloud to you. Most recently, we did Harold and the Purple Crayon, and I'm going to mention that here today. So, one of the things that's come up in a recent reading lesson was this: authors have intentions. So pay attention. And when we say an author has intention, it means the author is trying to do something. And I don't mean they're trying to write words. I mean they're trying to make us feel something. They're trying to make us feel like we're in the story. They're trying to make us feel sad. They're trying to make us feel angry. They're trying to make us laugh. Authors are trying to do something. And they use words, and of course sometimes books use pictures to help us feel a certain way. So we have to pay attention and ask ourselves why an author is doing something. So while we read, we need to notice, stop, and think. We have to ask ourselves about these really strong moments in a book, like before they saw the owl in Owl Moon. And we need to ask ourselves, what part is powerful? Why is it powerful? Why is it giving me goosebumps? Why am I laughing? And how did the author do it? Because if we can understand these things, of course, we'll understand why a book is good, but we'll also be able to do it when we write. Okay, so let's look at two examples. What's this picture from? Sure, it's from Owl Moon. So let's ask these questions. It says here, what part is powerful? Now, Owl Moon has a lot of really strong parts, a lot of goosebump moments. But for me, the beginning was powerful. That was one of my favorites. Okay. And why is it powerful? I felt like I was there. Remember how that story opened? It talked about how cold it was. It was late. It was past bedtime. You couldn't hear anything except for the whistle of a train that sounded like a long, sad cry. Okay, that was a really good goosebump moment. I felt like I was outside cold on a bright, moonlit night with my feet crunching in the snow. So that was a really powerful moment. And like I said, there were many other ones. How did the author do it? The author described everything. And remember when we talked about it before, we noticed that there were no real actions in the beginning. The speaker just says, I was out with Pa. It was cold. We couldn't hear anything. So she just describes everything around her. And that made me feel like I was there. Okay, so that's an example of notice, stop, and think. Find a part in the book that you like, okay, and ask why it's good, why it's strong, and then try to figure out how the author did it. Let's look at another example. Okay, now let's take a look at Harold and the Purple Crayon. This is from yesterday. And let's go through the same process. Let's notice, stop, and think. So, we're going to think about our three questions. What is powerful? So, for me, the ending, when Harold went to bed, that was a powerful part of the book. Why is it powerful? And I have two reasons. One is the word choice. I like the words that the author used. And the moon was always with Harold. I'm going to show you what I mean. How did the author do it? He used drew and dropped. Now I'm talking about the word choices. And he put the moon on every page. So let me show you what I mean. Here are some pages from the book, from this adventure that Harold had with his crayon. And no matter where he goes, from the moment he draws that moon to the moment he goes to bed, okay, so here he is drawing the moon, and here he is finally going to bed. That moon is always with him. And that kind of made me feel good when I read that because I hadn't noticed it the first time. Okay, so that was something that the book did without words that was powerful. That's okay too. Now look at this. This is near the end, and this is the part I was talking about with the word choice. It says here, and then Harold made his bed. Oh, it's so clever that the author did this. I'm not sure if you picked up on it. Usually when we say, I made my bed, what does it mean? I spread it. I put the blankets, the sheets, the pillows, I set it up to be slept in. Okay? But he made his bed with his crayon. That was so clever. So he took the word made and had two different meanings for it. He made it because he drew it with his crayon, and he made it because he set up his bed. Then the author did it again. He got in it and drew up the covers. Well, when you draw up the covers, what you're doing is you're pulling the covers up to your chin so you can be warm when you sleep. But the author has a second meaning here. He really is drawing up the covers with his crayon. He's actually drawing. So the author did it again. He played with the word. Okay, and look, he does it again. It says the purple crayon dropped on the floor and Harold dropped off to sleep. Oh, that's so cool. Look, the purple crayon fell onto the floor. Okay, he dropped it. Okay, that makes sense. But then he dropped off to sleep. What does that mean, he dropped off to sleep? It just means he fell asleep. So I love that the author used these words, dropped and drew and made his bed in this really clever way. And at the same time, the author made sure that Moon was with Harold and with us, the reader, the whole time. So it's really important, boys and girls, to notice, stop, and think. In a lot of the books that we read, there really aren't any mistakes. The great books are great for a reason because the authors planned things in there for us to see and read and feel. So look for things when you read your books, okay? And then if you see something that you can use, try it. Okay, and that's the end of our reading lesson. I hope you are all reading at least 25 minutes a day, reading real books. I'm not just talking about comic books and video game text. Put a book in your hand if you can. Open it up, find a comfy spot, and keep on growing like beanstalks. That's it for now. The end.